What's up, fellas? So I'll let you in on something. I never wear a tie, and I never write it down. But because you did, and for you today, I will. It's under there somewhere. It's tight, too. Yeah, where's yours? What's up with that? Anyway, let me just jump in with this to you folks. Congratulations, you made it. And the thing that I love about that is that you got here by doing everything you weren't supposed to do. You weren't supposed to graduate in 3 years. Out there, they tell you 4 years. Get a traditional degree and spend maybe 5 or 6 years doing it. You certainly were not supposed to learn how to work with your hands, right? You were supposed to get a traditional higher education, and you were supposed to spend all of your time in somebody's classroom. And you definitely weren't supposed to end up, at this point, debt-free. You were supposed to go to a really expensive school so that you could signal to everybody that you're special. Well, fellas, the $1.7 trillion higher education lending industrial complex is disappointed in you. They're looking for you. It took guts to defy that convention. You cut your own path, and it brought you here today. And look what you got. You got a degree, you got a skill, you got a job, and no debt. Now, yeah. I doubt that surprises you, because that's what you signed up for. But you got something else along the way that you may not be fully aware of. Because you guys rejected all of those supposed to do's or whatever, you have actually redefined what it means to be successful and to be prepared. And along the way, you have earned the respect of everybody here, obviously your friends and your families, but also of complete strangers, myself included. And I just have to say that because of that respect that I have for you, it's a remarkable privilege to be here speaking in front of you today. While I'm at it, I do have to say a big congratulations to the faculty, the trustees, the benefactors, everyone up on the stage right here. You have done something wholly unconventional as well. And if you fellows will give me a minute, I want to say congratulations to the board, the faculty, the benefactors, the trustees, for staying true to this institution's 136-year-old charter that rejects the idea of what a conventional higher education should look like and has cut their own path. Congratulations to them for keeping their focus on you, on young men, and for understanding what makes you unique, how you learn, what it takes to make you successful. I would imagine that hasn't been an easy path to follow these days. Congratulations for enforcing high standards, for asking a lot of these young men, put on a tie, stay off drugs, don't cut across the lawn. Might sound a little ridiculous, but fellas, trust me, shortcuts don't get you to where you want to go. Congratulations for allowing these guys to graduate debt-free, for always going out and trying to raise the money wherever and whenever. You guys need to remember this. Somebody wrote a check so that you didn't have to. And that means never be ashamed to make an honest buck. Your prosperity begets generosity. And most importantly, while other institutions have prided themselves on how many people they turn away, congratulations to you guys for expanding this institution, adding additional seats when you knew that every additional seat was an additional burden. You all are remarkable, doing a remarkable thing. All right, so the story you heard, As Mike said, I first learned about this school from my high school soccer coach, Rick. Thank you for that, by the way. He called me up and he's like, OC, you got to see this place. It's the only place that I've ever been to that looks anything like the school that we shared, which was St. Benedict's in Newark. And so I came down, I fell in love, I totally got it. And I immediately saw the similarities between the two institutions. Ours was all men, yours was all men. You guys end up debt-free. Ours isn't cost-free, but it's low cost to a lot and free to many. Both of those schools set very high standards. They were strict, that's okay. And most importantly, both of those institutions put the kids first. They put the students first. We had a saying at St. Benedict's, one of many, but it said, never do for a young man what he can do for himself. And I see a lot of that here at this institution. There were enough similarities that I felt willing to accept Mike's invitation to come and to share with you some of my experiences that I think might be useful to you. And so in the long-standing tradition of old guys giving unsolicited advice to young guys, here I go. A couple things that I'd like to share with you. First, don't underestimate the bond that you guys now share with each other. You've walked a unique path. Most folks out there won't understand it. And so you share some common DNA. It's a connection that makes you all brothers. Joshua, I heard you refer to them as your brothers, and you're right. Brothers are for life. And so whether it's 5 years from now or 50 years from now, you're going to look back on this time fondly and just know that that is where that unbreakable bond started and where it was made. We had another saying at my school, and this is the important one, and it was, whatever hurts my brother hurts me. And so make that yours. Take that for yourselves. Look to your right, look to your left. Those are your brothers. Let them lean on you, and most importantly, lean on them. It's not always easy for guys to do that, but that's super important. Definitely do that. The second thing that I want you to think about is where you came from has a lot to do with where you're going, and not necessarily in the way you think. At my school, the one that Rick and I shared, we had all types of kids, most of them for downtown Newark. And I would say that a lot of them came from challenging circumstances, some from broken homes, some from poverty, some from worse. I was fortunate that I didn't have any of those challenges facing me, but it wasn't smooth sailing. It never really is. When I was 2, my mom died. And then all of a sudden, Dad is looking after 5 kids under the age of 7 while trying to hold down a job. And that's the kind of thing that can break a family or it can break a young man. But it didn't. Dad persevered, he moved forward, sell the house, moved next to grandparents. A lot of people lean in. We figured it out. And I end up with all these great people who are sort of got my back. It was a remarkable bond. And then the most amazing thing happens. Dad marries my new mom. And I don't know what 26-year-old woman marries a guy with 5 kids, but she did. And pretty soon there were 2 more. And so now there's 7 kids, and all of a sudden I've got 2 more siblings. I got 2 more people with my back covered, looking out for me. And I started reflecting on it. And what's amazing about it is that, the worst thing happens, and from it, the best thing grows. When my mom died, our family was not broken. It was just unfinished. And I want you to think about that. Keep that in mind. Whenever you guys face adversity, and I'm sure you have, and if by some miracle you haven't, I'm sure you will, don't let it break you. Know that those bumps and those bruises along the way, those things that feel like breaks, they aren't kinks in your armor. They are your armor. Never broken, always unfinished. So you got an army of people looking out after you. Many of them are here today. Good on you for being those folks for them. But starting tomorrow, you guys get to go to the other side. Tomorrow, you become the ones who other people rely on. And I can assure you, it is a high honor. For the past 3 years, you've sharpened your minds, you've strengthened your resolve, you learned a skill. You now have a trade and a vocation, and that puts you in a unique position where people are going to rely on you. You're the ones who can do things. You're the ones who can fix things. You're the ones who keep this world working, and I hope that feels good. I have to assume by now you have enjoyed that feeling of picking up something with your hands and making something out of it. A large part of why you guys matter so much is because you have purpose, and you have purpose because people rely on you. It is part of the definition of manhood, parenthood, brotherhood. It's also the definition of motherhood and sisterhood, a speech for a different day and a different audience. Speaking of parenthood, I'll share a little story with you. I never enjoyed watching my kids play baseball, soccer, or going to the lacrosse games. I just didn't understand it. They're having fun. I don't know why they needed me there. But I do actually like watching them work. So my oldest, he has a summer job. He works at a restaurant. They got a big lawn out front. And, he serves drinks and food. He picks up plates and he hustles for tips. And so whenever I had a day off, I'd grab my bike, I'd go for a bike ride, and I'd pull up to that restaurant, I'd tuck the bike off to the side, and I'd sit down, and I would just sit there and watch him work. Better than any soccer game I've ever seen. Sorry, Rick. It was awesome to watch him be productive, to serve those people, to do it with a smile, even if he was just hustling for a tip. I just think it was terrific watching him be so productive. So today, as you guys graduate, you need to know that I respect you for the academic degree that you have earned, but you need to know this. The thing that gets me most excited is the things that you guys can do. That's what I think is the coolest thing. What we do, that used to be so important. It's how we got our names. I'm not kidding. The two most common ways that we used to get our names way back when were where you were from and what you did. And if you don't believe me, just ask some of your close classmates. Cole Hunter, where are you, Cole? Yeah, Hunter, right there. Alante Shepard, Kyle Marshall, Mr. Miller, Mr. Bowman, Mr. Keller, Mr. Cannon. I could go on. I looked at a roster of your class, and over 1 in 10 of you carry the name of a profession that your ancestors might have done. Now, I get it. We don't do that anymore. But be aware that you are about to get new names. Some of you are going to be called superintendent, foreman, master carpenter, general contractor, chief engineer, general, chief, master, super. Strong names, names that command respect and project competency. And up until now, I hope you guys all enjoy and embrace the name you've received, which is apprentice. It's the best one. It comes from Latin and French, and it means to understand and to learn. And you guys have all shown that you already understand the value of learning to work with your head, but also with your hands. So never stop learning, and be sure that you become proud of those names that are about to be bestowed upon you. Be an apprentice for life. All right, enough from me. I'll just leave you with a final thought. As you leave this remarkable place, I want you to be aware that you all benefited from great mentors behind me, in front of me. Now you become one. As you go out into the world, remember that you don't just represent Williamson, you guys represent an idea, a new idea, that you don't have to follow convention to make a difference or to have worth. You represent the idea that a different path, the one that you guys walk, can lead to success and fulfillment. So practice your trade, excel at it, be that apprentice for life, and show the world that proficiency, not credentialism, is the highest honor. Show the world that all the bruises and the bumps and the small breaks that you endured along the way are your armor, and that the skills that you have learned are your weapon, and together, those make you guys fierce. So thank you for the invitation. Mike, thank you for your attention, fellas. You need to know that it is a great honor for me to be part of your brotherhood, if it's even just for one day. So Godspeed, go get them, kill it out there. Thank you all.